Okay, so we kind of went over some of this already for anybody who's watching it, so I'll just at least go up and show the answers for the top. I won't re-explain. Okay, so down here now, I was surprised how many people got the order mixed up. So just watch your order. So here's my 2 points. 14 minus 2. Negative 3 minus 3. So if I'm going down on one side, I'm going down on the other side. Some people went 2 minus 14 and negative 3 minus 3. You got to go the same direction. You get negative 2. And pay attention to how much these points are worth. This one was worth 2. So if I took off 1, realize I gave you some credit. All the problems on the next page were worth 2. Speaking of worth 2, this right here, we still have some people mixing up their tickets and their money within the same expression. Tickets and tickets, money and money. If you're doing that, it lets me know that you're not grounding yourself in a level of understanding why this is working. You're just throwing numbers in and hoping it's right. Why does this work if we put it this way? Ticket price was $48, and I'm adding $3 per ticket, or per increase. Ticket price was $5.50, or I'm sorry, I did sell $5.50, and I'm going to lose 25 sales. Number of tickets, price of ticket, price of ticket. Stay organized. Okay, have it make sense. Because if I do $5.50 plus 48, that's 550 tickets plus $48. Yeah, I've got 550 tickets and $48, but I can't really have those in the same expression. It's not making much sense. Okay? So then you got to multiply this out. And then from here, negative b over 2a. Again, negative b over 2a, negative b over 2a, negative b over 2a. You get 3. And if I plug in 3 to my ticket price, I get 57. Okay. Next page. I kind of had a little bit of a chuckle if that would be the case, but the first 6 quizzes I graded, all 6 of these were different. So we're making a lot of mistakes on this. Okay? We've got to be able to plug in stuff and find slope. So, negative 3, you need to know where it's at. Plug in negative 3, and I get 37. And write the point. Some of you guys got confused because you got a number up here and a number down here and a number down here and a number up here. Okay? So write the point. Let your eyes help you. Plug in 3, I get 25. If you made a mistake on one of those, I found it and circled it. But then from there, subtract my y's and subtract my x's. I had some people subtracting 37 and 3 and 25 and 3. Write it as points and you won't make that mistake. My rate of change is negative 2, which should make sense. It starts out 37 high, ends up 25 high, so it is going down. Okay, with our eyes. If you did the my method of what can I pull out? Square root of 4, I know. Square root of negative 1, I know. So my answer is going to be 2i squared root of 3. If I pull out a negative, it's not a negative. I had some people doing that. Just throw a negative out front and think it's good. No, throw an I out front and it's good. If you did the factorization, I got a pair of 2's, so that came outside. The 3 stays in. On the 54, I pulled out a 9 and a negative 1 and leaves a 6 because all 3 of these multiply together to give me negative 54. If you did the prime factorization, I got a pair of 3's. So my 3 comes out, an I comes out, and then my 2 and my 3 stay inside to stay 6. There's no reason to break. It's not beneficial to write it as 2 times 3. Just leave it 6. Okay. And some of you guys didn't heed my warning from the day prior. about if it's addition, don't multiply. I had a lot of people multiply. Just add your parts. That's one of the reasons why we got out whiteboards that day, to practice this, so I could make sure you didn't make that mistake. So when I give you a warning like that, make sure you understand what I'm saying. This one, negative, or subtraction, so I distributed a negative, and then I just added my like parts. Now C, that's multiplication. So we're going to multiply those, and don't leave an I squared. 12i squared, negative 12i squared turns into plus 12. Okay, we're almost done. E, got to multiply top and bottom by I. So I get 4i on the top, and then I get I squared on the bottom. Okay, actually write that, because that'll help you stay organized and give you your brain a chance to go, yeah, I get it. Okay, now my I squared is negative 1. I can't just cancel that out. It's negative 1. Okay? Zach, what are you working on? Okay, it looks like you're working on the worksheets.
No, the worksheets are right there. It's the test.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay? Because I'm really trying to enforce that, boy, if people didn't do great, let's change and find our mistakes. So negative 4i. I could leave this negative 1 on the bottom if I wanted, but I'd rather pull it out front. It just looks better. Okay? F. Multiply top bottom by 3 plus I. That's called the complex conjugate. So I'm going to multiply this. I get 6 plus 2i. And the bottom, where the green circle is, that's where people made mistakes. Because we have a minus I squared. That minus I squared turns into a plus 1, hence the 10. Okay? And if you weren't sure what to do here, that's disappointing, because we had a few of those on the assignment. So, but next year, I'll know. I got to do some more examples of that, evidently. Okay. 10. Just like solving for x, I got to subtract 48. I've got to divide by 3. And then I get x squared equals negative 16. I can square root both sides and get plus or minus 4i. Next one, subtract the 150, divide by 5, and I get x squared equals negative 30, square root both sides, plus or minus I squared 30. I don't have it up anymore because we used the board for another class, but there was on your reviews, I'm just trying to encourage you guys to come in for that stuff. There was a problem like this. There was a problem like this. There was one of each of these and a division, okay? And you had to solve one of these. So if you come in for the reviews, it'll be worth your time. It'll be worth your time. Okay, on A, factoring. Some people got that, which your factoring's already getting better. Okay, hopefully it'll continue to get better and better and better and better. But this is a great example of where eventually we're not going to be looking for factors of 6 to add up to 7. We're going to be looking for factors of 6 that when I multiply one of them, I get 7. You'll see that on Monday. Okay? So it's a trial and error. But why does this work? You've got to be able to do this. 2x squared, got it. 6, got it. 3 and 4 gives me 7, so I know that I'm right. If you can't multiply these things together, you're in trouble. Okay, bonus B, I did not mean to make it so depressing, because honestly I had tears in my eyes as I was grading this part, because some of you guys have experienced some loss. I wasn't trying to, I thought I would get answers like, I miss recess, or which somebody did put, or I miss such and such for lunch, or I miss, whatever. But there was some pretty heavy stuff in there. And mine was pretty heavy as well. My father-in-law, Dan, used to live 75 yards from me, and I miss seeing him every day. I miss seeing my dog. But back then was just a really good time of our life. You know, Dan was around. He was healthy. My dog was around. I loved him so much. And that was also before my wife came down with MS, which that has given us some challenges that I wish that she didn't have to deal with. So we're working on making now a happy time and a good time. Retake by Thursday, 11:20. Okay? That one shouldn't take you very long to retake. But in the future, continue to get better at looking that checklist over of what you need to be able to do. Okay. So here's what we have. And we got that. And I've got a worksheet that I can't find right off. Okay. There was a worksheet about the oh. Why did the announcer say that? I just can't find my copy. So why did the announcer say that? You couldn't do that riddle because you didn't do the bottom half. It was because he was reading the Olympic symbol.
What?
The rings. Oh. I'll never forget. I had my track coach in college pulled me in one day, and he's like, okay, the Olympic trials in 92 might be a possibility if you can fix these things. And I was like, wow. And of course, didn't work out. Where does the smell of a skunk go? No one knows. But hopefully you see the play on words, because nobody knows. But it also doesn't go into one nose. It goes into everybody's nose, multiple noses. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Let's go on to the next deal. This worksheet, and we're going to do a couple examples here. We're taking our time with this because you've got to be really good at this. This is something we're going to use a lot. I need this to be almost as easy as breathing. Okay? So first of all, let's talk about what signs you used in the past. So, nice. I just broke a big piece of lead. Okay. So if I have ax squared plus bx plus c, let's talk about signs. What are my signs when I factor? What and what? Plus and?
Minus.
No. If this is all plus, there's plus and plus. Okay, we're reviewing. If I do ax squared minus bx plus c, what are my signs going to be there? Minus, minus. That's great. I'm glad you guys responded in the unison like that. Because a negative times a negative gives me a positive C. A negative and a negative, when I add together, gives me a negative B. That's good. So if I go ahead and do one more add to the mix, which we're going to do today, okay, ax squared and bx minus c. I don't care what this one is. What are my signs if it's minus? Negative and positive, or a positive and negative. We don't know. But why does it have to be one of each? Because a positive times a negative gives me a negative. But when I add them together, it's either going to be positive or negative. I don't know. We're going to work on that today. So today, the process on this is I've kept our A's to 1 to make our lives easier. Okay? And we're moving through to it being minus today. So let's do a few examples, and then we'll give you guys the rest of the time. So let's go ahead. Let's come down here to part A, or letter A. ax squared plus 3a minus 10. So we're going to do an a and an a. What about my signs? Plus and a minus, or a minus and a plus. And this next part that I'm going to say won't make sense for another couple days, but 1 and 10, 2 and 5, if you do this, 2 and 5, well, first of all, is that right? This you should be able to come up with right now. Is that right? Why not? Yeah, it'd be a negative 3, right? So here's what you're tempted to do. You're tempted to take my 2 and my 5 and switch them. Don't. Because later on, if you do that, it's going to wreck it. Change your signs. So if you get the opposite of what you want, change your signs. So this gives me negative 2a and a positive 5, negative 2 and a positive 5. That'll give me my positive 3 I'm looking for. Now do you see how important it is to be able to multiply? Yeah. Because if you can't multiply this together to double check it, then you're in trouble. Austin, looks like you got something on your mind.
No.
Okay? Just later on, we'll switch our signs and it'll make our lives a lot easier. Okay, let's come down here to, let's do A on the next one. All sorts of A's. Okay. What are my signs? Subtraction and addition. Because I need a positive and negative to multiply together to give me negative 24. Okay? So now let's look at my factors of 24. 1 and 24. 2 and 12. 3 and 8. 4 and 6. Which pair should I pick? 3 and 8. And if you get wise, you can put it in the right spot right away. I want negative 5. So let's make the 8 negative. So that will go with a negative. And this will be 5. But otherwise, no, I'm sorry, 3. 3. Otherwise, plug it in there, and if it works, you're good. This gives me a negative 8 and a positive 3 gives me a negative 5. Okay? So, if you're on any of these, if you get stuck, list your factors. But the biggest thing is to multiply it and check to see if you're right. Okay? Multiplication is a critical skill. Okay? Critical. Really critical. Let's do the one right next to it. Let's do H. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's do H. So X, but I got a Y squared, so we'll throw a Y in the back. What are my signs? Positive, negative. Look, that comes from this being negative. We need one of each. Plus, minus. And this, it does not, as long as when you multiply back out, you get the proper sign. Okay? So now 80, you might not see this, so let's list some factors. 1 and 80, 2 and 40, 4 and 20, 5 and 16. Oh, 5 and 16, those are 11 apart. Which one should I make positive? The 16, because I need it positive 11. So I'm going to go 16 in the positive spot, 5 in the negative spot, and let's double check it. So answer your question, Holly. This is the critical part. 16, negative 5 gives me 11. You've got to be able to multiply them. Have to be able to multiply them. Okay. So, today, what we're going to do is multiplying is so important that I want to be able to intervene to those that are struggling. So here's what we're going to do. It's the time for our very first ever pop quiz. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up, and you're going to grab one of these pop quizzes. You're going to grab a pen. That's for grading it, because we're each going to grade our own later on. So let me give you all the instructions. I want you to go back. I want you to come up, grab one of each, Hold on. And then take it. When you're done, flip it over. Start working on your assignment. Once I see everybody has it flipped over, then we'll grade it together. You'll hand it in. I'll put it in the grade book. Hopefully you all get a 5 out of 5.